Starmer managed to send one soldier to Greenland to prove that he was a good European, and he achieved absolutely nothing apart from move us into the firing line over an issue that is of marginal interest to us. Supporting a country that's done nothing useful for us recently, which is a member of a bloc that has been out and out hostile to us for the last 10 years. Keep that in mind as things fold outwards. This is a man who is far more interested in the international community, is far more interested in looking good for his pals on the international circuit than he is to actually do his job. His job in this situation should have been to actually keep us to one side. It should have been to actually negotiate the best possible deal for us by actually using our position in the middle to support either side for the best possible outcome for us. Don't worry, this isn't just an attack on Starmer, though it's him who's in charge now. If Badenoch had been in power, she'd have done exactly the same, and that's because the majority of British politicians are internationalists who are far more interested in our allies than they are in the national interest. There is a reason why the vast majority of the country absolutely hates them. And this is the same problem across the whole West. The idea of the national interest has faded, and instead it's about global responsibility, our allies, and so much more. You see this regularly when you see, for example, Yvette Cooper. All she ever does as Foreign Secretary is bang on about allies, the rules-based order, and so much more. These are platitudes of people who can't really grasp the fact that their worldview is about as popular as a pork chop in the synagogue. I'm not interested in the allies. I'm not interested in the rules-based order. I'm interested in what's best for our country. And our country, in this case, what's best for it was to stand to one side and basically say, well, we don't really agree with it, but fundamentally it's nothing to do with us, which it's not. Should Denmark and the EU have decided to stand up and go, well, actually, we'll give you X, Y, Z, then maybe it should have been our problem. Maybe it would have become our problem. And at that stage, it should have done, because we would be getting something out of it. A transaction would have occurred. And that's the thing that I think more and more people realise. There is only one transaction, the transactions only go in one direction at the moment when it comes to our European allies. We give, they take, and we get nothing back. And I think I speak for many when I say I'm pretty much over it. Many say that NATO is the bedrock of our security. I have to ask, how does that work out? I don't have Russia next to my country. If we'd kept our nose out of things, then Russia would have nothing to do with us. That's the EU's border, it's not my border. That's the reality of the situation. We should be very much be operating as offshore balancers, basically transactionally going about our business, trying to ensure that no one gets too big and too powerful by basically working with other parties and everything else. That's how it should be working. Instead, we have these tards in charge who frankly wouldn't know the national interest if it fell on them from a very large height and weighed a great deal. And I think more and more people see this reality. They see the fact that we're governed by people who are actually far more interested in the international order, in their platitudes and their worldview, in looking good for their buddies in the World Economic Forum or similar, than for actually doing what's right for us. And to be honest, our involvement in Greenland did nothing anyway. What was it going to do? The 12.5 soldiers and a pickled egg that European NATO sent to Greenland, what was that supposed to represent in some shape or form? That we were going to defend Greenland and that Trump didn't need to worry about it? If anything, it completely reinforced the fact that there is no European NATO military of any substantial size or substance. Furthermore, when we look at a European allies, and we look at the leaders and their response to everything, we actually see the reality of the situation. And what I mean by that is Greenland is just the latest event in a series of events which has demonstrated that the post-1991 order is well and truly over and done with. America is moving into a much more transactional position of what you can do for it and what it can do for you. As part of that, well, I suppose not just because part of that, but the world that's re-emerging is one of hard power. And in this, Europe, and when I say Europe, I mean the European Union states, Britain, Norway, and everyone else, substantially is screwed. We have no hard power. We have disarmed, trashed our economies, and generally ran our societies into the ground following the liberal world order that our elites love and adore so much. That reality should be shining through by now. This is not new, like I said. This is a process that started over a decade ago with Trump 1. However, they wasted the Biden period because they didn't want to admit that the world had moved on. Well, it has. There is no going back. There's no unscrambling this egg and its omelette. And to be honest, we desperately should be looking at all those things and trying to reverse them. And what I mean by that is net zero, it's deindustrialised our societies, smashed our economies and ensured that we can't have serious militaries. Because you can't have a serious military if you can't actually produce steel at an affordable price. You can't produce the chemicals required for explosives or for pharmaceuticals and everything else at an effective price. You cannot grow your economy enough so that you can actually afford to have a large standing army and so much more. And also mass migration, which has basically destroyed social solidarity across most of Europe. If our cretinous politicians were actually understood this reality or wanted to accept it, they would be rapidly rowing back on both. Instead, you see a gentle paddling backwards. Gently. Though not so much in Britain, where we've still got Ed Wingmanut's Miliband basically raging ahead at trying to retool the economy back to year zero so that we all live in mud hovels. And a process which is, I hasten to add, loudly and resoundingly supported by most of the left in this country. So spare me the hyperbole, depending on how you pronounce it. Spare me the grandstanding. Spare me the utterly vacuous statements like Starmer produced this morning, which I can't even remember, it was so uneventful. And come back to me when you've got an actual plan for how this country is going to actually look after its national interest and actually start tooling itself up for the emergent world. Until then, please stop bothering me, Prime Minister. Please stop bothering me, political class, with your droning on and complete and utter nonsense on international politics and geoeconomics that you produce now on a near daily basis. I and plenty of other people are sick of it.